Hi there. So I thought I would do some Halloween cupcakes as we're coming up to Halloween, not end of this month obviously, but end of next month. And I just thought I would show you a really easy way to just to make some Halloween themed cupcakes. So I've just taken my vanilla cupcake recipe, which is what I have mixed up in my mixer bowl. So you can just click on the link if you want that recipe, or you can use any sort of vanilla cake recipe that you're after to do these cupcakes. And I'm just going to add some orange food coloring to them. So that'll turn my cupcakes orange. So I've just got a Wilton gel paste here. I like using these because they don't dilute my icing. So I'm going to get a really nice bright color without diluting my icing. So I'm just going to use a toothpick, and underneath just coax a good dollop of that, probably about a teaspoon or so, because I want a really nice bright orange color. So I'm just going to take that, move that out of the way, bring my mixer bowl back up and mix that in. Right, so there we go. You can see that's a nice bright orange color. So I'm just going to go ahead and bake my cupcakes according to the recipe. So for about 25 minutes or so at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to pop those in my cupcake cases. And then I'll come back and show you. I'm just going to put a black icing on the top of them. So you just got your Halloween colors of black and orange. And then I'll show you what else you can do to sort of make that a little bit fancier if you want. But these are really simple and easy to do. Black and orange cupcakes, and they'll be really cool, just very easy Halloween themed cupcakes. So let me come back once these are cooled and we'll make the icing for them. Okay, so I finished baking my cupcakes, and these are the lovely, very nice bright orange cupcakes I made. Now I happen to have just a silver case, some cases that I wanted to use up. When I do these for Halloween, I'll actually I'll buy an orange case for them, or at least use a white one, and then you can see the orange through it a little bit to give it a little bit more dramatic look to it. So they just taste like regular vanilla cupcakes, just with the tinted orange food coloring in them, so orange cupcakes. And so what I want to do now is make a black buttercream to put on the top of them. And the easiest way to get black is to start with a chocolate buttercream. So I've got a chocolate buttercream in here, which is just the regular vanilla buttercream, again with the same vanilla cupcake recipe. And I've just taken out half a cup of the confectioner sugar and put in half a cup of sifted cocoa instead. So that's what's in here. And so I'm going to tint this black, again the same way as I did the cupcakes, but I've got a Wilton just a Wilton black food coloring. If you try and tint a white icing black, you're going to need an awful lot of black, and it still doesn't sort of seem to be black, like a true black. It sort of seems to stay a little bit gray. So one of the tricks is, if you're trying to get a very good black color, is to either start with a chocolate mixture, or there is brown food coloring. So you'd actually put the brown food coloring in first before you add the black, just to get your much truer black color. And the same goes for red as well. So if you're trying to mix up a red color, tinting it a dark rose. So Wilton do a pink or a dark rose color. So if you tint it rose or pink first, and then add in your red food coloring, you're not going to need to add as much red food coloring to get that true red color. So a little trick with those are the sort of the two hardest colors I find to get true, rather than sort of a slight off. So I'm going to just add in probably a teaspoon of this as well, just like the orange. And keep that aside just in case I need some more. And then I'm just going to mix that in. There we go. And I'm just going to scrape down my bowl. And as you can see, I am going to need to add some more black food coloring. Black is one of those difficult colors to get. One of the fun things about doing this at Halloween, though, is that sometimes I add a lot of black, more than I probably need. But it's very cool because then the people that are eating it get black teeth. It doesn't stain them or anything, but when you're eating the cupcakes, they end up, you can get some really cool photos of people smiling with black mouths, which is quite fun at Halloween. So I don't pay too much attention with how much black I put in because I quite like that and find it quite fun. So I'm probably going to add in another teaspoon of black gel. There we go. And bring that back up and mix it in again. There we go. And then we'll do another teaspoon. Now I mean, you can just put the whole container in if you want to. Sometimes I find I don't need to do it. Depends on the cocoa you have as well. If you can get a dark cocoa to add into the chocolate buttercream or almost a black cocoa, that helps not have to use as much food coloring as well. So this seems to be quite a light cocoa, so it's going to take a little bit more black to food coloring to color it. Okay, so I finished mixing up my black icing, and it took a whole little pot of icing color to turn my my icing batch into a really nice black color. I did have to leave it for a little bit. The color darkens over time, so it still seemed rather green when I stopped mixing it, but just let it sit, and then it darkens up very nicely. So I put it into an icing bag. I've got one icing bag with a 2D tip, just so that I can do a swirl on the top, and then I've got another one here with a grass tip, which I will show you in a sec. So the easiest thing to do to get some really cool Halloween cupcakes is to take your orange cupcake and just put a black swirl on the top. Black and orange, very Halloween-y. This, obviously, if you put as an orange case is great, or you can peel off if you can only get these silver ones and you don't want the silver. Sometimes you can get the cases to come off. Let's try this one. There we go. So you can actually just peel off the silver bit, and that just leaves you with that. So if you used a white case, that's what it's going to look like. So you'll still get that really cool orange color coming through. And again, just starting on the outside, going through, swirling, using your 2D tip, you get some really cool black and orange Halloween cupcakes. And I think that looks just fantastic like that. So you don't need to do anything more than that unless you want to. You can put sprinkles over the top if you want, do some more orange on the top of that. But that's sort of your simple and easiest way to make some cool Halloween cupcakes. There are also some other things that you can do that you can add on to this to make your cupcakes a little bit fancier if you are interested in doing that. So I'm going to move these out of the way, and I will show you a couple other things that you can do to change these into slightly fancier Halloween cupcakes. Okay, so the other tip I said that I had on there was the grass tip. So that's a Wilton 233 tip, and just like it sounds, it makes sort of grass, or it kind of looks like hair. So this one sometimes I find takes a little bit of practice. So as you can see, you can just do it on the palm of your hand if you want. But what you're going to do is you're going to get your cupcake. And then I've also got just some licorice, and I've just pulled it apart like this. And then I've also got some eyeballs. So what I'm going to make is a little spider on the top of my cupcake. So to do that, you're just going to use your hair tip, and I start on the outside, and all you do is squeeze and pull as you turn, and you can make the hair or the little fur on your spider as long or as short as you want. You just sort of squeeze it and pull it away. So you keep going until your cupcake is all covered. Sort of a little monstery cupcake almost. Monstery spider. You can just add more in wherever you want. There we go. So we've got our little spider coming along. And so then all you do, let me get the icing off my hand. Okay, so then all you do is you're going to take these little candied eyeballs, and they just come in packs like this. These are, again, Wilton ones. And they do big ones like this, or they do these little guys. And I like the little guys because you can put more than sort of a couple on the top. And so you just sort of pop them along. You can make your spider have 2 eyes. You can make your spider have as many eyes as you want. So I'm going to do 5 little guys like that. So we've got little spider eyes there. And then for legs, we're just going to use the licorice. And again, you can make this as short or as long as you want. And you just stuff them into the icing. And the icing will set a little bit. And so I'm just going to hang them over like that. And get our 8 spider legs in there. And the licorice that I'm using is just the Haribo wheels, Haribo licorice wheels. So they just come in a wheel like this, and I'm just undoing it and splitting it in half. And then I'm not even needing to use scissors or knife, just my fingers to pull it apart. And you can pull out your spider's legs. Let's put another little guy in the front. And there you go. So you have your cute little spider with all his little legs and all his little eyeballs. So really easy to do. Fun to play with the different tip as well. And then just adding on easy things to have at home. Just picking up some licorice. You can buy it in different shapes and sizes and stuff. And then the eyeballs as well. But you get your cute little spider. So easy way to turn our plain cupcake with the black icing into something a little creepier and a bit more fun for Halloween. Right, so I've got 2 more that I want to show you, so I'll set up for the other 2, well, the next one, and I'll show you that. Okay, so to do the next little cupcake that I want to show you, you're just going to take one of the cupcakes that you've already got some icing on the top of it, and we're also going to take some dirt, and to make the dirt, you're just going to take some chocolate cookies, the little chocolate wafers, and then just crush them up. If you've got a little food processor, that works really well, and that's going to be your dirt. And then what I've got here is a little piece of fondant that I've colored gray, and that is going to make our tombstone. So we're going to make a little tombstone in our dirt, and then you can write on top of it whatever you want. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this out. Just use that to hold that open. So I've got my little rolling pin. So I'm just going to roll this out. These are handy little rolling pins. The guides determine the thickness for you, so you don't need to do it too thin or too thick. And for my tombstones, I want them to be able to sort of stand up. So with these, what I'll likely do is I would let these dry overnight at room temperature, just air dry. And that would be so that you could actually stick them into the dirt and they'll stand up a little bit sturdier. So I'm just going to cut little strips like this. And I'll just do 2. And then cut the bottom flat. Like that. Bottom flat like that. And then I just have a little round cookie cutter, and I'm going to use that to try and give me a little shape. That's not really the shape I was looking for, but that'll work. There we go. To give you your little rounded tombstone. Actually, that works really well. So just use a little round one. Obviously, you don't want to cut all the way through the other side. I'll just put that back. You can freehand the whole thing with a knife. Easy to do. And so those are your little tombstones. And then the other thing I'm going to use are really handy little edible pens. So this is a little black edible pen. And if you let these dry first, they're much easier to write on. But just to show you, you can write whatever you want. So if you just do your normal things. Rest in peace. Like that, and you can put names on them. These are quite fun to do for little place cards for a party if you're having one where you have people seated. So you can write something like, here lies Bradley, and you just pop that into the cupcake and you put that at the place sitting. So that's always quite fun. So you can write. It's just a little soft, so you just have to be a little bit more gentle if you're doing it while they're still soft. So you can do that and then stick that in. So those are my little tombstones. And then, as I said, we're going to use one of the cupcakes we had before and our dirt. And I'm just going to take it, and just give that a little shake. And I'm just going to actually roll the top, squishing the top into my dirt. And so now I have a cupcake covered in dirt. And then I can just take one of these. And again, as I said, you let them dry for a day. So to make this kind of work a little bit better, I am going to cut it off just so it's a little shorter, so there's not as much to flop over. And then just pop that in there. And then you have a fun little cupcake like that with your dirt and your tombstone. Now, if you want to get even more creative, you can always use the hair tip we used for the spider and put some green icing in it and make grass all around that. So there's just a little dirt patch. You can always go ahead and play with some icing and use some white fondant and have bones or hands or something coming out of it. But this is just a simple, fun way to add another cupcake to your Halloween collection. So that's my third little one, and I'll show you one more that I like to do. So let me just grab all the stuff for that one. Okay, and for my last little one, topper for your Halloween cupcakes, I've got some white fondant, a round cutter, or you could just use a glass that would be a similar size to the top of the orange cupcake. I've switched out the hair tip to just a number 2 tip, or 3, or just something that's not going to give you a shape, just a round tip. And then I've also got some more of my little licorice pieces and my pen. So what I'm going to do this time is take my white fondant, and I'm just going to roll it out again. And again, this will work better if you let this dry overnight. I'm just going to cut out around like that. And then with my pen, so normally, again, I would let that dry overnight so it's hard and easy to write on. But with my pen, I'm just going to draw on, I'm not wrecking this, I'm going to draw on a spider web. And you can do this absolutely any way that you'd like. And I am just doing one like this. And again, this will be easier to do once this is dry. Now, you can absolutely use just the regular buttercream icing and pipe this on. Absolutely no problem with that either. I just like these pens, and I find them really easy because I don't always have tinted black icing. So if you were going to use your orange cupcakes and put something like this on it, you could always make an orange icing or just a regular white icing or anything like this, and then this is going to sit on the top. So it doesn't really matter what color icing is underneath if you don't want to tint a whole bunch of black icing. And you want to do these little toppers like this. So that's my little spider web. And then all you're going to do is take your bagged icing, and you're just going to draw on a little spider. Now, if you like it just like this, by all means, just leave the spider web as is, pop it on the top of the cupcake. Really, really cute. Also, if you want, you can tint the white icing black and roll a little spider. But what I am going to do, actually I'm going to put my little legs on. I'm going to make quite a big spider because the licorice I have is quite big. So if you have thinner licorice, that works as well. But we're just going to put our little spider legs on the side like this. This is just because I have some licorice. If you don't have the licorice, just pipe the legs on, which is what I thought about originally doing. And then you're just going to squeeze a ball to make your little body of your spider on the top. And I'd just leave it like that. So you've got your cute little spider on the top of there. If you want, you can go crazy and put an eyeball on, but because it's quite small, I think he's only going to have sort of one eyeball. But that's pretty creepy, and that absolutely works for Halloween. So then you're going to take your cupcake with the icing on top. And if this is flat, it would work a little bit better. And you're just going to push the red. It would sit flat. There we go. Oh, and I'm making a mess with the colors. And so then that's your last little guy with a little spider on his spider web. So that's my last little one there. So let me put all those together so you can see all of them again. Okay, so those are my cute little Halloween cupcake, easy to do designs. So your easiest being just an orange cupcake with a nice black swirl on the top, really classic, easy to do. And then from there you can use a different tip and make some hair on it. Put little licorice legs and some eyeballs and make a cute little spider out of your cupcake. You can also dip it in our dirt, which is just the crushed up chocolate, biscuits, and make your little tombstone, and you can use those for place cards or name cards at a table or party, or as a party favor for leaving. When people leave, they can find their name and pick that up and go. And then just our easy little spider web with our crazy little spider on the top, or you can leave them off if you just want the spider web on the top. But anyway, I hope you really enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, do give me a thumbs up, please. And please subscribe to see what else I'm up to.